Hello guys, so in this video I'll be giving you 4 tips on how you can get significantly faster in sculpting. Now take note, there is no magic trick to get faster. Nothing replaces practice, and I'll talk more about that later in the video, but I can assure you that if you weren't doing these things before, you would definitely get faster when you do. To start things off, preparation for a sculpt is the most important part of the process, and this includes gathering reference. Reference provides our eyes and brain with visual information. It takes away a lot of the element of guesswork and confusion and provides an accurate depiction of an object or thing we're sculpting. When preparing for a sculpt, put together all the reference you're going to need, whether it's a 2D artwork, 3D art, head planes, or anatomy reference from different angles. Make sure they're organized and ready to go before you start sculpting. You don't want to have to break every time realizing you need more reference. A great piece of software which I use in organizing reference is PureRef, which is free to download. I know they did not sponsor this video, but I just honestly think it's an amazing piece of software that you should use. It can even stay on top of your workspace window, and if it bugs you, you can always export your reference sheet into a PNG file and bring it into Blender if it's small enough. Link to their site is in the description. Now we've started working. With all this reference, we can jump straight into the details, right? No. Tip number 2, spend enough time blocking out. Take enough time to block out a character and establish shapes, proportions, and silhouette. I know you're wondering how taking more time would make you faster. Without a good base, you might have to make big proportional changes on a high detailed mesh, which is gonna be difficult and time consuming, and might even need you to erase some of the work that you've already done. Try to get to a point where you can already somewhat see your character and the basic shapes before you really get into the sculpting. Now, quick warning, when you start your sculpting, you do not want to rush into working on a high density mesh. Take your time on the low res. Sculpt as much detail as you can on each resolution level you're on before you increase your mesh density. In the early stages, you want to be able to make large changes, and like I said, you're going to have trouble with that when you have too many vertices. The fight with the highly dense mesh is huge when you're trying to create the basic shapes, and ultimately, you're going to spend so much more time in fixing these issues if you rush into it. Now, like I said, even after hearing all these tips, they're not a magic pill for speed. In the end, repeated practice is the most effective way to get faster. Now, how should you go about that practice? Speed sculpting. Speed sculpting is basically sketching in 3D. You pick up a subject, could be a certain body part or a portrait or some art, and you time yourself. Could be anything between 30 minutes to 3 hours. Wherever the sculpt is at the end of the set time is where you leave it. No polishing, no detailing, no perfectionism. This way, you naturally get more intentional with your strokes and thus get faster. It also helps you focus on the last 2 tips because you'll be more after getting an all-round, low to mid-level complete sculpt than a detailed one. Apart from improving speed, making a habit of this, based on my experience, takes the pressure off sculpting, since I can sculpt something and not like it, but still not think too much about it, or rather look forward to the next sculpt. And the repeated exposure and practice from reference helps with substantial growth in your mental library. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If not, tell me why in the comments. Please subscribe so you know when I release more stuff for you guys. And if you have any topics or desires for a future video, let me know in the comments below. Have a good day.